Hello again, everybody. Welcome inside the Linfield Sports Network studios. I'm Kevin Nelson, and for the ninth time in the Northwest Conference in the consecutive seasons, I'm with the head coach of the Linfield Wildcats. He is the coach of the year in the NWC. Congratulations on 9 in a row. Pretty remarkable, Coach.
Well, thank you. That's certainly a team award. Always has been. So.
Yep. Jason Farlow, your top player on defense, he also gets recognized. Defensive Player of the Year with Charles Riga of George Fox. Congratulations to him as well. He's had a remarkable season leading one of the top defenses, not just the conference, but the nation.
Absolutely. Farlow's had an amazing season and definitely very deserving of that. Without question, the most complete linebacker in the conference and dynamite player, and just so proud of the way our defense has played. I haven't really seen one that dominant in quite some time, and it's pretty special to watch this year.
Your team nearly shut out Pacific, would have been close to your third shutout of the season. I almost had that one against George Fox as well, but they seem to get better and better as the year's gone on. What's been kind of the key to that and how they played on Saturday, allowing just 7 points and the first rushing touchdown allowed since week 2 against Mary Hardin-Baylor? The first rushing touchdown allowed in the Northwest Conference by your defense.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's something we talk about, quite often is trying to keep teams from scoring on the run, and that's fun. I didn't realize that, but that drive was a little bit of an anomaly, obviously, with 25 penalties on that drive, something like that.
Yeah.
But and so I'm just real proud of how they've played. They've done a great job of limiting big plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anytime scoring's down, that's what you're taking away, is not allowing big chunks of yardage, therefore making a team have to drive it and eat up a lot of time, but convert many third downs, and that's what we haven't really allowed.
35-7 was the final score there against Pacific. In my mind, that was the most complete game in all three phases of the game that your team's played this season. What were your thoughts on the outcome?
I'd agree with that. I think that's a fair assessment. We went in at halftime up 21-0 and didn't really know what to do with ourselves. Like, geez, this is an unfamiliar feeling this year. So, sort of joking in that regard. But at the same time, it kind of was over. I mean, with the way our defense has been playing, you're not going to probably get that many points in the second half. But I really liked how we played. I felt like we were balanced on offense, running and passing, and played a decent game there. We could have eliminated a turnover or two there, I think, but I feel like we maybe could have put 40 more on it had we not taken some of our starters out. I think with 9 minutes in the third quarter we made some changes. So very pleased with how we played. I agree, very complete game in all three phases, and we needed that. I think we're slowly coming into form. We're not quite where I'd like to be, but we're closer to that point than we were several weeks ago, that's for sure.
Wyatt Smith playing in his most efficient game of the season, just 188 yards, but 10 of 14 passing, 3 passing touchdowns. He did have the one pick to open up the ball game, but only sacked twice. He just looked really comfortable, had plenty of time to throw the football on Saturday.
I think our offensive line did a very, very good job of giving a nice clean pocket, and then combined with the rushing game, it allowed us to take advantage of maybe some mismatches that we found, and I thought he put the ball in the right place quite often, gave our receivers a chance to catch it, and it was a good day for us.
J.D. Laswell, he seems to score on every third catch he makes. 9 touchdowns this season, led the Northwest Conference, a first-teamer in the NWC. What makes him so special after the catch, as he only has about 25 catches this season, but 9 touchdowns?
I think J.D. is very explosive, and he has a strength about him that is unique. He's very, very strong for a receiver, so that allows guys to break tackles and maybe take the ball away from players. He's had some really very athletic, explosive catches, this season. I can think back to some of the Chapman catches and a few others throughout the year where he's just able to take it away from defensive backs, and I think that's part of it. And then some of it's he's very runs good routes and is explosive, and we've been able to find him here and there.
15 Wildcats were named to the NWC first or second team. It seemed like everybody on the defense, at least most of them, got a piece of the pie. What does that mean to you, seeing your defense, obviously the best statistically, but getting honored like that, everybody getting recognized, it seemed like?
Well, I think that's very deserving. I mean, I think they were 6 or 7 points better than anyone else in the conference, which is quite a lot, considering the strength of schedule we've played too. So very deserving. I'm not so sure and I know some of the kids that didn't get honored were better than some of the guys that did. So, as I said, probably one of the more dominating defenses we've had, over the last 9 years, and we've had some very good ones. This one I felt was just, it had to play because it didn't have the offensive production behind it. So it sort of had to realize, okay, we need to be good for the full 4 quarters, and 1 or 2 plays could cost us the game. And that's a different style of defense than one that the offense is going to get their 35, 40, 50 points, so we can just play loose. And so there was a little bit more pressure maybe on our defense this year, and I think as they sort of embraced that, we got better and better.
10 seniors stacking that lineup, and Andrew Schwederman, a name that comes to my mind that gets snubbed off the list. But let's talk about this matchup. Your NCAA playoffs, first round, the bracket comes out, and it looks a lot similar to what we saw last year, although you're playing at home against Hardin-Simmons, a team you saw a season ago, went to Abilene, got the victory. Mary Hardin-Baylor waits in the second round if you get through these Cowboys, but you get HSU at home to begin the playoffs, Coach.
Well, we were very excited to play at home. Obviously, I feel very bad for Hardin-Simmons. They're 5th-ranked team in the country, and they're on the road. I mean, to me, what a joke. It's a slap in the face, I think, and maybe someday they'll fix it. I don't know. But I just look at some of the brackets, and you got teams with a paved, easy road for a couple games, and the difference is, let's say Hardin-Simmons makes a run, they're going to be beat to a tar by the time they get to the quarterfinals, and they'll have 3 or 4 starters out. So, that's the difference of playing front-loaded games, is there's an attrition that happens, and so same with Mary Hardin-Baylor. They're, if they're able to go through, if we're able to go through, by the time you get to that 3rd game, you're not the same team you were when you started the playoffs, and I think that's what's very, I think, difficult for teams in the West. You look at the West brackets, and they're tough loaded. So I feel bad for Hardin-Simmons. We were there last year. I know what that's like, and I expect them to be a very physical, well-coached team. It's going to be a heck of a game for us.
A lot of people saying this game's going to be low-scoring. 3-3 is kind of the joking score going around with how good these two defenses are. And you look at that bracket, 8 top 5 teams in your bracket. Just a really tough draw for all the teams involved in that. Hardin-Simmons is yet to win a game in McMinnville, and 3 chances since 2012. This is a revenge game, of course. They lost to you last year, but you've kind of had this series overall, 5 wins to 2 losses against the Cowboys.
Well, that means 0, when the game starts, other than for stats. So I think, every year is its own entity. Matchups are what it's all about, and how does this team match up against this team this year, and so it could be 3-3, I mean, it won't be 3-3, obviously. It'll have to be 6-3 or 10-3, but it probably will be low scoring. I mean, they've got a great defense. We've got a great defense. Both teams have some explosiveness. So I'd be surprised if it was 6-3, but it certainly won't be 45-42. I don't think it's going to be that kind of day.
Special teams could be the difference. Good thing the Cats have the best kicker in the conference, Willie Warren, who was NWC honoree. Coach, thanks for the time. We'll see you on Saturday when the Cats take on the Cowboys of Hardin-Simmons in the first round of the NCAA playoffs. Thanks, Coach.